So today we're talking about all things gay. So we're going to kick this off with gay marriage or same-sex marriage or whatever you want to call it. Now, here's why gay marriage isn't a thing. If you Google it and you take the very, very top of the paragraph, you just put in marriage, you get a legally or formally recognised union of two people as partners in a personal relationship. Now, if you just stop at that point, that tells you why gay marriage isn't a thing, or at least why it shouldn't be a thing. Marriage, to me anyway, is just basically two people sharing their love and saying that they want to spend the rest of their lives together. And that's all it should be. And I think the fact that we still have to say same-sex marriage or gay marriage shows that while we do have that equality now, and we, people of the same sex can get marriage, it's still defined as same-sex marriage, not just marriage. And this is I guess so. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can get the point I'm trying to make anyway, or the point that I'm trying to lumber through, and that is the fact that marriage is just marriage. It's not marriage. This is just people saying that I love you and I want to spend my life with you. They should. In this day and age, in this modern world that we live in, we shouldn't be trying to determine everything necessarily with a specific label. It shouldn't be gay marriage or same sex. It should just be marriage. It's just two people. Doesn't matter who they are. If they love each other and they want to spend their lives together, then that's it. What is wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. So, this is what I mean when I say gay marriage isn't a thing. Because it isn't, and it shouldn't be. It should literally just be marriage. One day, hopefully I will find someone stupid enough to say yes, and I'll get married. So hopefully sooner rather than later, because if it's too much later, then I'll probably be dust. But, I think this shows that, we have made huge bounds in equality, especially in this country. There's still a long way to go in other countries where, even just being gay is still illegal. It's just, you just can't comprehend why, or the mentality of that, or these people that still have these antiquated views that it's just sick and immoral and wrong and you're going to hell. No, it's not. No, I'm not. And shut up. But anyway, getting a little bit off track. We'll come back to that later, possibly. But the point I'm trying to make is, marriage, I've just watched a series of programs about queer Britain and things like that. And they're really interesting. I really like them, actually. They're really good. But it's like, in a lot of ways it shows how far we've come. But in other ways it also shows really how far we still have to go. Because, it's still not... It's not right. The word mainstream is wrong, because it's never going to be mainstream. I mean, is there even such a thing as mainstream? Everybody is different. Every single person on this planet is different to another. It is different to everybody else. What about twins? Well, twins, yes, they can look identical and everything, but they are still individuals. Everybody is an individual. Everybody is different. There is no such thing as normal or normality. So you may notice it's a little bit darker. The batteries ran out in my camera, and unfortunately, because my camera, it's not a bad camera, but it runs off AA batteries, it means I'm always buying batteries. I had to go and get some. I walked to the shop. They didn't have good enough ones in, and then I bumped into my sister who wanted to go to the cinema. So of course I said yes, and now I'm back again. So, I think I've rambled on enough about why gay marriage shouldn't be a thing. So let's move on to gay pride. Now, I love gay pride. I went to Birmingham this year and had the best time ever. It was nice because I was just so relaxed, felt myself, let myself go, and it was great. But, in fact, I even got this new tattoo while I was rather drunk. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't regret it, but probably you don't get tattoos when you're drunk because there's a good chance that you will. Anyway, moving on. You do get a lot of comments sometimes about people saying, or people trying to start a straight pride. Now, the thing of it is, gay pride, you don't have to be gay to go. Anyone can go. For a start, we are an inclusive group of people for the most part. There's a few bad eggs, but for the most part, we will welcome anyone and everyone. But the thing is, like, all these people going on about, like, well, why do you feel the need to rub your sexuality in our face, or why do you feel the need to still have a gay pride, and we should be allowed to have a straight pride, and blah blah blah. But the thing is, for years and years and years, just our being was against the law. And, there have been plenty of brave souls that have fought for our rights and our equality, and no one has ever been picked on, beaten up, put in prison, been tortured, been castrated, or had any of these horrific things done to them for being straight. And I think that's why it's important that we still have these events. Because one, it allows people to properly let their hair down. And I mean, I have actually filmed a video about me and after gay pride, which I think would probably highlight why it's important, at least why it's important to me. But I'm not going to go into that now. That is for another time when I actually decide to post it. I will post it one day. It's just getting I'm not even edited or looked at it yet, but it's just about getting the what's the word? Basically about getting the balls to actually post it. So I'm not going to say I'm never going to post it because I made it, and I made it for a reason. So I will post it. It's just going to be a case of when. But anyway, moving away from that, I think gay people, or people of minorities, have faced persecution, and people have been the hardships and the animosity and the hatred and the evil and the terrible things that have been done to people just because they may be slightly different is horrific. And I think a group of people coming together and celebrating that they are who they are, and they're not going to change, they're not going anywhere, and there are, well, like I was saying about gay marriage, it's clear there are still boundaries and hurdles that need to be overcome. People are still discriminated against because of their sexuality, people are still beaten up because of their sexuality, people, there are still bad things happening that shouldn't be happening. And, I don't mean just in faraway countries where, it's illegal to be gay and things like that, although that is horrific in itself. But here too, even in the United Kingdom, there are homophobic incidents and attacks and things that happen, regularly. Some that get reported, some that don't. And I think this is why it's important, and I think this is why the argument for let's have a straight pride is just ridiculous, because you have no idea what you're talking about. I think it's, until you've had to fight for your rights, and you've had to fight just for your existence to be acknowledged and been told, yes, society will accept you. And I mean, there's that word again, accept. It shouldn't be about accepting. It should be a fact of you're a member of the human race, you're a human being, and therefore, we are all equal. And obviously, you get, there are a lot of very devout religious people that are, very much, oh, well, this isn't what the Bible says, or this isn't what this particular religious scripture says, and, this isn't, how it should be, and, this isn't what God wanted, and, blah, blah, blah. But for the start, depending on which faith you go for, God apparently created man in his own image, so, hello? And, so, a friend of mine, I've got a good friend of mine, we go drinking, he's a religious person, and was brought up in a particular faith, and we've spoken briefly about this, not about religion and things. And he's like, the way that I look at it is, it's religion is there as a belief, as a faith, as something maybe to guide people, something that people might need in their darkest hour, but it's not an instruction manual. It's not an absolute. It's a guidance. It's clear that these were written a long time ago, and whoever wrote them, it wasn't necessarily meant to be an absolute. And I think that's a very good and open-minded attitude to have, to say, look, I am a religious person. I mean, I'm not personally religious, but for someone to say, I am a religious person, I have faith, and I have a certain set of beliefs, but I also acknowledge that a lot of the things that were written aren't necessarily correct, or there are principles that you can take away from it, but they were not absolutes. You can take away things like we should be better, we should be kind to one another, we should help each other when we can, and things like that. I think yes, in those ways it's not a bad thing. We're kind of getting into the quagmire of religion now, so I think we'll step away from that. But yeah, I think pride is brilliant, and I think it's something that we definitely still need. And even if we didn't need it, I think it's still a good thing to have. There's nothing healthy with just people getting together, being happy, having fun, listening to music, having drinks, and just chilling out. How can that ever be a bad thing? Let's face it. So, moving on, it's been in the news a lot recently, especially down in London, about the amount of gay bars and gay clubs that are closing. And there seems to be a record amount. And even, like where I live, the club closed, although there are dubious reasons surrounding that. In Nottingham, one of the biggest gay bars that I used to go to, which is the town next to mine, is now a straight one. There's only a handful of gay places in Nottingham, and some of those don't get good reviews. Not that I've been in a while, so I can't really comment. But I think like Pride, gay bars and gay clubs are still very important, and I think we're losing too many of them, because I think that they are places where people can go and they can have fun and they can properly meet people, rather than the evils of social media that can be at times. And you can go there and you can feel safe, and again, like Pride, you can be more yourself, and you can enjoy yourself, and you can have fun, and you can relax. And for me, I've noticed something. I've noticed more and more and more recently that it's certainly a huge loss in my life, and I've become very let's just say I'm having a few issues, and you know, I mean, I have a terrible memory, which means unfortunately it's even more difficult for me to remember things. But I find myself trying to reminisce about some past events, and kind of missing a bit of the person that I was, and it's something I need to kind of find. But I think the loss of gay bars and gay clubs is detrimental to the community, because I think they do provide a valuable social environment and a social scene. You know, a place where you can meet people and make new friends and make new relationships and chill out and feel relaxed and safe and at one, and realise that you're not alone, and you are part. You know, there is a community there, and there are people there. You know, I mean, yeah, you know, don't get me wrong, it's not all all sunshine and rainbows. It has its negative side, and nearly everything in life does have pluses and minuses. But I do think it's something that we're losing too much of to our detriment, and I think we need to be careful, because if we lose too much of it, we could find it being a bit more of a lonely place for some people. I think some people will feel maybe a bit outcast or a bit trapped, and just not have that escape that they need, or that sense of well-being, or that sense of belonging, or that chill time, or that way of making new. I mean, like, take me for instance. I'm horrifically bad at meeting new people. Well, not meeting new people. In like a work in a business sense, I can turn my hand to anything. But when it comes to being social, I have real issues and real difficulties with that. And being able to go somewhere and not feel judged or for something, which I got when I went to Pride this year, I think it's becoming more and more important. I think, especially as we, live in an ever-changing world. So, but I think sort of moving away from that now, and looking at going forward, or looking at these few things that I mentioned. Again, I may do more videos talking about this, because I am missing my gay side a bit, and I don't think I realised quite how much until I went to Birmingham. But I think the underlying fact is, as well, there is still a lot of prejudice in the world, both. I mean, obviously there's a hell of a lot in some countries where, it's a crime just to be gay, where you can get stoned to death or shot for just walking down the street holding hands. But, there is still prejudice in this country, and, until it is eradicated, we need to be together as a community. And I think even within our own community, there are some divisions, and there are those that, are marginalised, and I think we need to work on that as well as a community, because if we can't even be open and honest within our own community and together and to each other, and recognise that we have all struggled, then until that happens, we cannot say that things are perfect. Don't get me wrong, things are a lot better now than they used to be. They're certainly a lot better than when I was a kid. I mean, when did I come out? I came out in my 20s, and even then, there was still, but it still wasn't necessarily quite as acceptable as it is now. But there's clearly work to do, and I think that's important. I think that's why we need to change minds, not just out of our community, in our community as well. I think there's still a lot of work to do as a group of people, to make sure that we don't end up leaving people behind, and we don't end up making people feel less than they are, because no one should have to feel like that. So yeah, this is, I don't know, this hasn't quite been the video I thought it was going to be. I don't think this is, but I've been watching some of the Queer Britain stuff, and the Channel 4 is doing like a whole gay season as well. And obviously, like I say, I went to Pride a few weeks ago, well, probably about a month ago now. I think I'm just coming to some realizations, I think, personally as well, about me, and that I'm missing out on things at the moment, and I need to change. I need to make some changes personally, and I'm not really sure how to do that or where to start with it. Well, and some of it is this, because I've got to get back into shape, because I've put so much weight on, and I have started to lose it, and I seem to have just put it back on again, but I haven't been to the gym in like ages. But again, is that to do with what society tells us we should look like, or is it down to my own things? I think it's a little bit of both, because I am pretty fat at the moment for me. But, I think the thing is, I've never wanted to be a particularly muscly person, just thin or flat, I used to have actually, I don't know. But anyway, I'm getting off topic, sorry. A bit self-indulgent. But yeah, my point is, we still have prejudice. We still have it towards the gay community. We still have it inside the gay community. Which is why we need to make sure that we hold on to these things, such as pride in clubs and bars. But not only that, but while we have gained equality through, legislation on the age of consent, on marriage, and things like that, it's still not seen as being just what it is. It's not seen as just being marriage, or it's not just seen, it's seen as marriage and gay marriage. The two are separate, and they shouldn't, this is my point. We've still got work to do. We need to, we need to come together as a community, and then once we've done that, I think it'll be a lot easier as well to change people's hearts and minds. So yeah, that is. I'm gonna stop boring you now, because it feels like I've been talking forever. It's probably only been about 5 minutes, but I'm also really, really hungry, so I'm gonna go and get something to eat. And then my next video. Like I said, I've just been to the cinema, so I've already got another talking about film and television one planned, so that'll probably be, I don't think I'll put that in the same one as, so I've just been to see The Mummy. I don't think I'll put that in the same one as the next one, because I've already got another film that I've been to see a bit ago to talk about. And so that's probably going to be 2 more, and then I have a couple of other things planned, so stay tuned. And this time I won't leave it so long, I promise. I know I keep saying that, but this time I'm going to do better. So, thanks for watching, and I should stop playing with this really as well, shouldn't I? Anyway, I'm going now, definitely, finally. Goodbye.